I'm the first year experience coordinator, like she said, at Northwest College. And that means that I have a special interest in students coming from high school, going to college, or if they've set out of high schools for a couple of years and then they're going to college. I'll help you get going, get started, and get your advisor and all that stuff. I also advise all the general studies students, and I also coordinate all the first year seminars. So I am a service for your students and for you as a parent too. I passed out both of these. This is for the student, it's tips from our peer mentors. And this is for the parents, it's tips about some things that I would like to have known as a first-time parent. And so I hope you'll take time to look over them. And my contact information is on the back of them. And so if you have any questions, you can give me a call or send me an email, and I would be glad to help you. So that's all I'll say. If you have any questions after, you will be glad to answer.
All right. My name is Morgan Patrick, and I'm with the Educational Opportunity Center. What that is a grant through the federal government, through the Department of Education. And what I do is I go to the high school in the whole Bighorn Basin, and I assist families with filling out the FAFSA, college applications, finding scholarships, kind of the whole all-around process to make college a lot easier. So, because there are a lot of things to know, a lot of terminology, and it can get really frustrating. So it's a free service, and I can assist any student, regardless of income, or what school you want to go to. Just because I'm over at Northwest College, I'm not actually allowed to advocate for any specific school, so I am able to help with any college options that you're exploring. So, we go through this. I'm terribly sorry. Some of the outside of these folders say the orange scholarship, and some of them say blue. My pronounced, I must have printed small ones or grabbed small ones because last year they were blue and this year they're orange. So what that document is this one right here. It is the easiest scholarship you'll probably fill out because it's primarily demographics. But let me explain a couple of things about it. The actual form back here is an intake form for my program. I really would appreciate it if all of you could fill this out. The reason being is that because it's a federal grant, you know how much the government likes paperwork. They want to make sure I'm doing my job, and there's no one here that supervises me because my supervisor isn't there. So the only way they know that I'm not sitting in my office making up names is if you guys fill this out. It also gives me permission to help your students, because once your student goes to college, you as parents cannot advocate for your students. So if something goes wrong with financial aid, or they have questions or problems, those are things your student is going to have to resolve. Because of that, it can be an intimidating situation, it can be confusing. So I'm able to be a liaison for your student. I've had several students this year in their first year of college that have had financial aid troubles, and they're confused and they need help. And the only way I can call the financial aid office on their behalf is by having this form signed. It does ask for your income range. That is so they can make sure that A, I'm not only taking certain income ranges to work with, and B, so that I can assist students. One of the ways I can assist them is by providing an application fee waiver to waive the $40 fee to University of Wyoming. And I also can provide ACT waivers for students. But there are certain income restrictions for that. One thing I'll have you know, you don't have to write on this form, but there is a difference in taxable versus gross income, and so that can make a very large difference in how much your family makes as far as qualifying for those waivers. So let's say I make $20,000 a year and my husband makes $40,000 a year. Doesn't have to be exact, but about that much. So then you'll write that on this box here. Then you're going to, if you're married, filing jointly, you're going to subtract $12,400 from that amount. Then, if you have, let's say, 5 people in your family, you'll subtract another $20,000 from that $60,000. So now you're looking at $38,000 coming out of that. So that makes a substantial difference in that income, which went from, it's like $32,000 versus $60,000. So that makes a big difference. You'll take that number, like I said, you can calculate it on your phone if you don't want to know the exact number, but you're going to check the corresponding box here. A lot of people will fill that out and then they'll check the gross income box on this side. So, the other reason I need you guys to fill this out is because I want to continue serving this community, and because it's so far from Howell, they want me to justify that it's worth my time to come here. So if I don't have this done, then they don't know that I've served you or your students through this presentation. So if you guys can fill those out, I've got some goodies. If you fill them out and get them back to me tonight, but if you don't get them back tonight, your students can bring them in to Mr. Dewar and he'll get them to me. Or I can get them on financial aid. So we don't have a ton of time tonight and we're having technical issues. I just want to point out a couple of things in this folder and then I'll go on to the financial aid presentation. There is a senior calendar here. It is updated with the new FAFSA dates. So the FAFSA used to open January 1st. So if you have older students, you will have done the FAFSA in January or February in previous years. This year, the FAFSA opens in October. The reason they have chosen to do that is because you can link last year's 2015 taxes right onto that document, so you don't have to wait to complete your taxes. Also, because students were paying $40 to apply to this school and $20 to apply to that school, only to do FAFSA in the middle of the year and find out they couldn't afford that school or that they weren't getting Pell Grants or any student loans through the federal government. So they are trying to make that process easier. It is coming sooner, but it should take less time. But keep an eye on due dates. So you have until your school's priority deadline to complete the FAFSA. So it doesn't have to be done in October. However, certain scholarships have certain requirements. So Central Wyoming College is requiring that the FAFSA be done prior to doing their institutional or college scholarship application. The Daniels Fund Scholarship, if any of you guys are looking at that scholarship, they want the FAFSA done prior to completing that scholarship. It's a requirement. So even if your family makes more money than you and you think you won't qualify, they still will require that that be completed. A lot of families also wonder why you have to fill out the FAFSA if your family doesn't income qualify for Pell Grants. The biggest reason I recommend is some of the scholarships are tied to those. So they just want to make sure you've explored all of the income, all of the sources of scholarships available. They also have millions of dollars left on the table every year because families assume they won't qualify, but they actually would have. So there are student loans and Pell Grants every year just left on the table because people are assuming they're not going to qualify for them. So it's a complex algorithm. I couldn't begin to explain it, but they take many different things into account when they're considering the Pell Grant. Also, with the FAFSA being earlier this year, you're using 2015 taxes. If there has been a change in your family, a divorce, a job loss, something like that, you will have the opportunity to apply for special consideration through college, and then they'll take those new circumstances into account when determining the program. So you can follow the senior calendar. There's some information on planning and campus visits, things to look at, questions to ask. That's the purple sheet. And then, like I said, I can provide waivers for the ACT, so there's some tips and tricks. And then this yellow sheet is how much will college cost. It's a helpful worksheet if you're looking at more than one school. So you're going to write down the cost of attendance for that school. You're going to add, you have your board expenses and your book expenses. Then you're going to transfer that number down to here. And then you're going to subtract out the Pell Grant money, scholarships, and student loans that you're taking out. So you can see how much you're going to end up owing. It can be a little deceptive if a $40,000 a year college gives you a $20,000 scholarship. It looks pretty awesome. I got a $20,000 scholarship, but that means you have to come for $20,000 out of your pocket versus a $3,000 scholarship or a $10,000 scholarship. There is a general enrollment checklist because there are things you're going to need to provide to the college, such as transcripts, short records, that kind of stuff. And then this worksheet is beneficial for scholarships. It can let you know what you sent to each school. And then on the back side is an activity record. So if you don't create in your classroom a resume or an essays for writing scholarships, this can help you remember what activities you were involved in when you were in school. So there are much more papers in here, but I will let you guys explore those, and then after the presentation, if you have questions, feel free to ask. So because of the technical difficulties, I'll be reading off of the PowerPoint, this white packet. So sometimes when you're filling out the FAFSA or financial aid, it can seem random. Like, I see your parents usually get 2 toppings on their pizza. You must not need any financial aid. It is very random and obscure, but they do have a purpose. So today we're going to talk about federal student aid, state student aid from colleges, and scholarships from other sources. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is money to pay for college or career school in the form of grants, loans, work study, and scholarships. The people who can get student aid, you have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. You have to be a high school graduate or GED holder. You'll fill that out now, and then when you graduate, you will be a high school graduate. You have to enter an eligible degree program. So one thing that can trip some students up is a lot of times cosmetology school they don't work with the federal government, so you have to pay for that out of pocket. If anyone is looking for that, there are a couple of options in Billings. They do have a school that uses federal aid. And then Eastern Wyoming has a cosmetology degree that is an actual associate's degree. So you can leave school, cosmetology school, with a college degree instead of just a certificate in cosmetology. You have to have a valid social security number. However, your parents do not have to be citizens or have social security numbers to fill out the FAFSA. Males must be registered for selective service. On the FAFSA, though, if you haven't registered, you can select the box "Register Me," and it will register you for the selective service. You don't have to fill out paperwork at the post office or mail it in or go online. And then in college, you have to have satisfactory academic progress, which means that you have to keep your grades up in order to keep that financial aid. One of the biggest things I see with the adults that I work with is they have gone to college and they either got distracted and they stopped caring about their grades, or they had a life event that prevented them from adequately completing that semester. When that happens, you will have to pay back any student loans or grants that you get. And so a lot of people have to come up with that money out of pocket after they've left. So if you do have something come up, make sure you talk to your teacher's financial aid office, something like that, so you don't end up missing out on that money. What other types of financial aid are there? There's state, college, and private scholarships. They all have their own criteria and their own deadlines. And make sure you know what you have to do to qualify for those scholarships. So some of them want interviews, they want additional details, they need letters of recommendation. So make sure you completely read the instructions and always apply for every scholarship opportunity that is available. So many scholarship donors are begging for students to apply for their scholarships because so few students actually apply. So as far as priority dates, some of them come up pretty quick. The trustee scholarship at University of Wyoming has a December 1st scholarship application date. So really make sure that you're talking to the school. Casper College is only opening their scholarship from October 1st to November 1st. So if those are schools you're looking at, pay attention to those deadlines.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
Because it's a little frustrating to us. So they have these deadlines early. And of course, our juniors are concerned about getting a better ACT score. And then they want to take the ACT in September, which I personally don't think helps them that much.
No.
So if they, I guess my question is, how much pressure is on those kids to try to get a different ACT score? Will they look at their ACT score later, or they won't? They'll look at the one they take as a junior. They do that on purpose, or?
No, some of the schools will consider those. It really just depends on each school when they hold.
I'm talking about the University of Wyoming. I'm talking about the
Okay.
trustee scholarship. Because we have a lot of kids that look at that, and then they're panicked because they don't have enough time. Even if they take the October ACT, they're not going to get the score back in time for that deadline. So
Yeah.
what's the idea behind that? I guess is my question.
I don't know. I think that they really just, it's such a short year and it's such a competitive scholarship that they really want the best of the best. So I don't think that they look at later ACTs. Pathway will. You can take the ACT up until your first day of classes to improve your ACT score for Pathway. But some of the schools.
I'm just curious because that happens all the time, and kids panic. I got to take that ACT over, and they don't even get a score back by the time the deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So how much federal aid can I get? In general, it depends on your financial need, and it's not how much you think you need, it's how much they think you need. So it's determined by the expected family contribution, which is a code they come up with based on the completion of the FAFSA. The information you enter when you complete the FAFSA comes up with this code. It can be anything from 0 to 50,000, 60,000. And it's not a reflection of your income, but it's the code that they come up with, and they called out the expected family contribution, and then the cost of attendance for school. One thing to consider with the cost of attendance, you will never be awarded over the cost of attendance because they don't want you to make money going to school. So if your halfway comes in, you want to make sure that you can use the halfway towards a master's degree. So if you get a lot of scholarships your freshman and sophomore year, you can hold that halfway and use it your junior and senior year of college and then towards your master's degree. Because otherwise they will subtract that from your, any additional money will be subtracted from your halfway. So, the other thing to know about cost of attendance is that you can kind of play with the cost of attendance for the school to fit your family's needs. So the cost of attendance is kind of like the big package. Like if you were to get the best of every package, that's what the cost of attendance that the school comes up with. However, you can get a smaller dorm room, you can get a roommate, you can get smaller meal plans. You can go online to get your books. There is this website called Subbooks, and it's kind of like Travelocity. It's going to compare a lot of different places, such as Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and give you the best rate for those books. One thing to consider as a parent, you want to go in there and you want to make sure your child is taken care of. You want to make sure that they have all the food that they can eat. You don't want them to go hungry, but really consider your student in particular, because like my son does not get up early enough to have a good breakfast. So he most likely, when he's in college, will skip breakfast and grab a Pop-Tart on his way out the door. So there's no sense in paying for that if your student isn't going to eat it. Or if your student leaves campus every weekend, then there's no reason to have that bigger meal plan. So those are things to consider. So they're going to take that expected family contribution, and then they're going to take that cost of attendance, and they're going to subtract them. And what that number becomes is your financial need. So how much federal aid can I get? So for next year, the 17-18 school year, the Pell Grant is $5,815. So they'll divide that into 2 semesters. So you'll have over $2,500 each semester to put towards your schooling if you qualify for that full Pell Grant. You can get $5,500 in subsidized and unsubsidized loans. The difference between subsidized and unsubsidized is that on subsidized loans, the government foots the bill for your interest until you're